So Mahavir, I'm talking to two people right now. Both of them are health insurance. They claim they are experts, but I don't know how to find the expert between the two. So is there any way to find expert, non-expert?
Yeah, so this is something that we've, as a company, we have cracked this, right? Because
Hmm.
we keep talking to a lot of people,
Yes.
and all of them come to us saying that they are experts, and then we actually have created a method to find out who's an expert, who can actually cater to a customer and give them the answers that they need and the support that they need, compared to someone who probably needs little more experience and knowledge to be able to do that, right? So the first thing that we look at, meaning, and I would recommend the customer should look at, is basically knowledge. How much understanding they have about the product. They have the depth of understanding the
Hmm.
subject, right? And of course, as a customer, you cannot basically judge them on the entire thing because you also don't know that. But the idea is that try to ask a lot of questions in multiple dimensions to understand if they're giving you confident answers, to understand whether they are an expert
Hmm.
or not, right? That's the first thing. The
Got it.
other is basically expertise, which is basically how much specialized are they in their field. So people who are full timers, right, and have
Mm-hmm.
spent a lot of time and they've spent a career into health insurance, and spend a lot of time in health insurance, are obviously going to be people whom you should depend on, compared to someone who's a part timer, or who's doing, let's say, even doing travel agency, or also
Hmm.
a real estate agent
Got
and
it.
then also
Hmm.
selling insurance, or
Mm-hmm.
someone who's also doing a job and then selling insurance. Like, he could be your friend, right? He could be someone whom you want to oblige, but it's a very big mistake because health insurance requires a lot of support after you buy the policy, right?
Yes.
So it's therefore important that you basically do this classification properly and then buy from the expert. Third is track record, right?
Hmm.
Claims actually dekha hona chahiye. This person should have seen claims in their life. They should have seen how claims don't get paid,
Hmm.
how claims get paid, what are the implications when you don't buy the policy properly, how disputes happen, which insurance company has good intentions. Some insurance companies could be notorious and not wanting to pay claims. ये सब ground realities पता होना चाहिए, because the entire process after buying the policy is offline, and
Mm-hmm.
that offline behavior of an insurance company, offline implications should be understood by the expert properly, so that they can guide the customer, because customer तो दो तीन पॉलिसी खरीदेगा.
Hmm.
Insurance expert is someone who has bought or helped people buy so many policies that they have a view of guiding the customer, right? So that is how basically an expert can be found, compared to someone whom I would probably call a salesperson.
So how to find a salesperson?
हाँ, मतलब how to find a salesperson so that you don't buy from that
Yes.
person.
Yes.
So a salesperson would be someone who would throw you brand names, right? मतलब वो आके सीधा शुरू ही करेगा by saying that one brand name, two brand name, three brand names,
Hmm.
without helping you understand the product, right? Second is they will throw you benefits, कि सर इसमें ये मिलता है, उसमें ये मिलता
Hmm.
है, this is what you will get, what will
Hmm.
get. They will
Hmm.
not basically help you understand the pitfalls in the product, or like an expert will borderline scare you saying that sir ये नहीं मिलता है, सर आप ये बराबर से नहीं भरोगे तो आपको प्रॉब्लम होगा. The best example of this is a good CA versus a bad CA. A good CA actually scares you. My CA scares me every time. सर आप ये बराबर नहीं करोगे तो आपको इतना फाइन लगेगा, इतना पेनल्टी लगेगा. That is actually a good CA. Someone who's saying सर हाँ भर दो जैसा ITR
Hmm.
भरना है,
Hmm.
is not a good CA, right? Who's saying that सर आप बताओ कितना टैक्स भरना है, I will fill the return reverse, right? Is not a good CA, right? Because
Yes.
that will
Yes.
imply,
Yes.
the implications of that will happen 10 years later.
Yes.
So similarly, knowing a good expert versus someone who's a salesman can be understood by how short term that person is. Like another
Hmm.
example is that वो policy issuance पे बहुत focus कर रहा है कि जल्दी जल्दी policy issue करो सर, हमको अभी ये policy अभी ले लो कैसे भी करके.
Got it. Hmm.
Compare that to someone who is focusing on claims, right? तो claim पे focus करने
Hmm.
वाला जो बंदा है, जो बहुत ज़्यादा who's talking about claims and talking about how things that you take actions right now are going to have an implication on your claims, is an expert. Someone who's not even talking about claims, just talking about benefits, about timelines, about brands,
Brands.
is
Hmm.
a salesman.
Okay. So how can a person, if he doesn't have any local agent or anybody, how can
Right.
that person find an expert and not a
Right,
salesman?
right. This is a problem that we saw happened a lot with customers in the past, where we felt that while we told them that you should buy from an expert, a lot of people were not able to find an expert locally. If you spend more time, honestly, you can find an expert locally. It's
Hmm.
just that you need to talk to people who are slightly senior to you, like
Yes.
people who are in their 50s and 60s, because they would have seen a claim, and then find an expert that way. If you're not able to find, then of course we have cracked this at Beshak. We basically do this on a day-to-day basis. It's a job that Beshak does, is that curating the right health insurance experts, testing them on product knowledge, testing them on their competence about how they follow processes, their understanding of regulations, their intent, right, in terms of helping customers, the time and bandwidth that they have. All this is done over 3-4 processes, and then an advisor is chosen on our platform. So you could probably come on our platform and try it out. You will come to know the difference between the expert that is available locally, your friend who's selling insurance, and someone who's like an expert who's on a Beshak, and then take a call based on that. It's free.
Great, great, great. Thank you, Mahavir. Thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying.